4:33 Eastern. It is Friday, November 29th, Black Friday. My mother, sister's boyfriend just popped off to the mall. I mean, I got Black Friday football over here. Chiefs, Raiders, 10-3 at half. I'm also gearing up for my 11-year high school reunion. Has anybody ever heard of an 11-year high school reunion? That's exactly what's coming up tonight. It could be a first of its kind. I'm looking forward to it. One of my good buddies from high school, I've known him forever, is organizing this. He's putting the team on his back. We call him Mr. Bethlehem, and that's what we have going on tonight. We certainly will be. I don't know how liquored up I'm going to get tonight because we're getting the tree for my mother tomorrow. I still have to get back down to Baltimore this weekend for Eagles Ravens, which of course is what this live stream is going to be all about. But I thought that why not? It's the day after Thanksgiving. It's relatively quiet viewership wise. I get it. People are with their families. People are doing their own thing. They're traveling. They're in the air. They're eating. They're still in maybe, I don't know, post-Thanksgiving food coma. You name it. But that's what I have going on to tonight. But I had to hop on here and hit you with one more live stream. The next time I see you after this will be on Sunday in the 2 o'clock hour for the Ravens-Eagles pregame live stream that I'm hosting at Be More Around Town, which is the tailgate right outside of M&T Bank Stadium, 10-minute walk, if that, located at 801 West Austin Street. I hope to see some of you guys out there. So that is what we are working towards. Tonight's live stream is brought to you by my friends at Primary Residential Mortgage, and I'll continue to say happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, and a special shout-out to Sarah and the Ellison family out in Columbus. They are hosting their cousins, their family, nieces, nephews, uncles, aunts, all kinds of different people out there. And I know Sarah is busy with her hosting hat on. So shout out to my partner and shout out to this week's 13 slate, boy. Obviously, it began with Thanksgiving games yesterday, Black Friday right now, again, Chiefs and Raiders. But perhaps the game of the week and maybe even a Super Bowl preview will take place in the 4:25 window. Coming up on Sunday inside the bank, it's the Eagles and the Ravens. Philadelphia 9-2, Baltimore 8-4, and this is going to be electric. The injury reports just dropped, and we'll get to that in just a second. Nick Boyle will be the Ravens' legend of the game. There will be a pregame flyover. The parking lots open up at noon. Ravens walk at 1:30 and the gates to the bank at 2:30. Ravens special teams coach Randy Brown. It's going to be a family affair for his group this weekend. His son Tyler is an assistant special teams coach with the Eagles, and his daughter Ryan will sing the national anthem. So a cool, proud moment for Randy. Yeah, I actually saw him. He made an appearance on NFL Network, Good Morning Football, earlier today. So super cool for him. Congratulations to the Brown family. The Ravens, meanwhile, are going to be wearing their combination of black jerseys with purple pants. And if you are superstitious, look away. But Baltimore, in this jersey combination all time, is 4-0, unbeaten, averaging over 32 points per game and outscoring opponents by over 13 points per game. We'll get to this in just a bit, but before we do, here's the injury report. And what you'll notice is Roquan Smith is officially good to go. Roquan missed his first game as a Raven due to injury on Monday night in Los Angeles. With that hamstring, he was limited Wednesday and Thursday and a full participant today. It's a big deal for level 2 of that Ravens defense. It's a big deal it's a big deal for the Ravens rushing attack. And it's just a shot in the arm, if nothing else. Big Michael Pierce, speaking of the rushing attack with a calf, was just designated to return after a month-long stint on IR with a calf. He's in the middle of his 3-week activation window, was limited the first couple days this week, and a full participant on Friday. He is listed as questionable. John Harbaugh wouldn't commit to where he's at. They're going to test out how he's feeling because obviously this Philadelphia offensive line is no joke, and their rushing attack is the top attack in the entire league. Kyle Van Noy was this week's surprise. popping up on this injury report with a hamstring and neck. He did not practice all week long and is listed as doubtful. It's a shame. Having another career year and is one sack away from his career high, which he had last year in Baltimore in year one with the Ravens, which was 9. He's at 8 at the moment. Could mean Tavius Robinson. An opportunity for him to step up, next man up. Arthur Maulet will not be playing, nor will Charlie Kohler, who just broke his arm. Sanusi Kane and Travis Jones, both good to go. Travis missed some time this week. That ankle continues to bother him, but he continues to be a warrior in the midst of what I'm sure is a lot of pain and discomfort. Maybe Josh Tupou for a second consecutive week will be called up from the practice squad as a nose tackle to help alleviate. But if big Travis Jones is out there, if big Michael Pierce is out there, and you got Roquan, I like the Ravens' chances of not stopping Saquon Barkley, but limiting Saquon Barkley and making Jalen Hurts and company beat them through the air, which they're certainly capable of doing. TJ Tampa was recently designated to return as well. He's been dealing with an ankle. He's listed as questionable, the 4th-round pick out of Iowa State. And Broderick Washington is good to go. He missed some time this week with a knee/rest. As for Philadelphia, Darius Slay has officially been ruled out, defensive back for the Eagles. Devontae Smith, their stud wide receiver, along with A.J. Brown, of course. But as far as Devontae is concerned, with a hamstring, he is questionable after back-to-back days of limited practice participation. So Darius Slay officially been ruled out. Devontae Smith, we'll have to know more and wait and see coming up on Sunday inside the bank. 2 key pieces to the Eagles on their respective sides of the ball. Other than that, nothing notable in terms of discussion points. And for the most part, both teams relatively healthy coming into week 13, which is, I'm sure, part of the reason why they've won so many games. Baltimore 8-4, of course, a half game out from the AFC North lead behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Philadelphia 9-2, comfortably atop the NFC East ahead of the Washington Commanders. Well, tonight's live stream is labeled Shredding the Latest Lamar Jackson Narrative. And that latest narrative has to do with, obviously, 1, this matchup, 2, his ongoing MVP candidacy, and 3, I guess the media's love affair from a national perspective of Josh Allen, even though his resume can't hold a candle to what Lamar Jackson has accomplished, and those are just the facts. I think Josh is a tremendous quarterback. I do. I feel the same way about Joe Burrow. I feel the same way, in a sense, about Jalen Hurts. But Lamar Jackson, in that tier 3, or I should say in that tier of 3 below Mahomes, many view Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson as peers. While they are peers on the football field, in terms of legacy so far, and resume and full body of work, I view Lamar as above Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. But before I do, listen to what Ryan Clark had to say on First Take earlier today, courtesy of ESPN, as it relates to this upcoming matchup for Lamar and the Ravens going up against Jalen and Saquon and the Eagles. But this is what he had to say related to Lamar himself.
So the big thing for me is this. This is the Lamar Jackson MVP game. This narrative is being built to put Josh Allen at the top of the MVP race because he's the one great quarterback that we talk about amongst that trio of quarterbacks in the AFC that hasn't won one. But make no mistake about it, Lamar Jackson is playing the best football at the position right now. This is the game that Lamar Jackson has to go out and prove it. You're playing against a team that has a better defense than yours. You're playing against a team that has a running back comparable to yours, right? We've seen you against the Kansas City Chiefs. We've seen you against your biggest rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now you're playing a team that's supposed to have more than what you have. Go out and prove that you're the best player in the league. Go out and prove that you're a quarterback that can go not only above the X's and O's, but go above the total roster. And if you're Todd Monken, put it on Lamar Jackson. And I'm not saying don't give the ball to Derrick Henry, but if it's 3rd and 11 like you get against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Lamar Jackson, and they call a pass and you got an opportunity to rush for it, go use your legs and get it. Go above and beyond what anybody else has ever done at the position, because that's what we've seen you do throughout your career. We want to see it in the big game. To me, this is very much like we watched Lamar Jackson last year against the San Francisco 49ers, where he had to be Superman. Cam has done this before. He knows how important these big games are when your roster may not be totally better than the other team, and I've watched him go above the X's and O's in the roster. That's what Lamar Jackson has to do this weekend.
All right. Ryan Clark essentially saying that Lamar has to go out and prove himself in a sense. Okay. And at the top of that, I'm going to rewind it because he said something about Lamar as it relates to Josh Allen. And those are the two areas that I want to pick apart when it comes to his comments from earlier today. One, this thought or this narrative that Lamar has to prove something come Sunday. And two, the Josh Allen component. Those are the two areas that I want to dissect. So quickly, we'll rewind off the top and then start to dive into this one by one.
Yeah, so the big thing for me is this. This is the Lamar Jackson MVP game. This narrative is being built to put Josh Allen at the top of the MVP race because he's the one great quarterback that we talk about amongst that trio of quarterbacks in the AFC that hasn't won one. But make no mistake about it, Lamar Jackson is playing the best football at the position right.
So that he's essentially saying that between Joe, Lamar, and Josh, the most talked about quarterback who hasn't won one is Josh Allen. Is that? I just want to make sure I'm interpreting this, reading this the correct way. I'm going to rewind it once more.
Yeah, so the big thing for me is this. This is the Lamar Jackson MVP game. This narrative is being built to put Josh Allen at the top of the MVP race because he's the one great quarterback that we talk about amongst that trio of quarterbacks in the AFC that hasn't won one.
No, he's the one quarterback we talk about amongst the trio of quarterbacks in the AFC, Lamar, Joe, and Josh, that hasn't won one. Well, first of all three are often talked about. It's just a matter of where you're looking, where you get your news from, this, that, and the other. But nationally, make no mistake about it, of those three, the most discussed who hasn't won one is Lamar Jackson because of his resume, because of his full body of work, because of the accolades, because of where this team got to last year, inches away from a trip to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. Am I interpreting this correctly? Because if I am, I find that hard to argue against. There's no question that of those three below Mahomes, Lamar is easily the most dissected who has yet to get to where he wants to go and what everybody strives for. Ryan Clark is saying this is the Lamar Jackson MVP game. Go out and prove you're the best player in the league. He's comparing this game and this opportunity to the one that Lamar had and passed with flying colors on Christmas night last year, where he and the Ravens went into San Francisco and dismantled the 49ers in front of a primetime global audience on Christmas night. I see some of those comparisons. I also see that this is the beginning of the month of December on Sunday. Last year was the end of the month of December in San Francisco. Right? While this could help decide the ongoing discussion for NFL MVP, I don't know if it necessarily explicitly decides NFL MVP. As for the Josh Allen angle, again, I have a tremendous amount of respect for this guy. He is a unicorn. But so far through 12 weeks of football, Lamar has him beat in every single statistical category besides two. That's win-loss record and rushing touchdowns. The Buffalo Bills, if the postseason were to begin tomorrow, would hold the second overall seed in the AFC. They are 9-2. They're playing fantastic football, and they just picked up Amari Cooper, of course, earlier this month ahead of the trade deadline. The Ravens did not see Amari when they played, was it week 4, I want to say? Because he hadn't been traded to Buffalo yet. Josh also has 5 rushing touchdowns. Lamar has 3. Every other category, Lamar is comfortably ahead of Josh. We're talking about completion percentage. We're talking about passing yards. We're talking about passing yards per attempt, passing yards per game, passing touchdowns. He's thrown 2 less interceptions. His quarterback rating, his rushing attempts, his rushing yards per attempt. So if we're talking about the MVP this year, while some of the sports books have told me in recent days that Josh Allen is the betting favorite, I ask why. Their head-to-head was a graveyard stomping that the Ravens gave to Buffalo on Sunday Night Football inside the bank. Every single statistical metric and category that matters, Lamar is north of Josh. And they're squarely involved in the postseason conversation as well. It's not like they're Joe Burrow's Bengals who are below 500. This is a Ravens team that consistently goes as Lamar goes. Lamar's doing this with a 31st ranked passing defense. Lamar's doing this with a football team that collectively, statistically speaking, is the most undisciplined team in the entire league. He is your MV3 frontrunner. That's not taking away from what Josh is doing. Josh has the record, and Josh has 2 more rushing touchdowns. Any other angle that you take on this, I can't follow it. It's hard to follow. If those statistics aren't enough for you and you want more, okay, he's first in total yards. He's first in touchdown to interception ratio. He's first in passing touchdown percentage, and I've told you the other ones: passing yards, passing touchdowns, quarterback rating. Yet this graphic from earlier in the week shows that the Fox NFL MVP odds favor Josh Allen at plus 150. Chris Howarth writes in, Lamar's the only player I get up at 1 a.m. to watch here in England, even with work the next day. That's a microcosm right there of what this dude's about. That is a perfect indication of what Lamar Jackson brings. And 77 figures, maybe you're onto something here. He says it's the LeBron MJ treatment. Maybe this is similar kind of treatment where Lamar just continues to break down walls. Lamar continues to enhance himself as a football player. He continues to break records and check off certain boxes that so many felt like may go unchecked. And with that, the goalposts just continue to move. The stakes just continue to be raised. I guess that could be viewed as the ultimate compliment. And don't forget, maybe the greatest testament to what Lamar is this year and his MVP candidacy with all of these numbers is what he's done for the guys around him. Derrick Henry competing with Saquon for a rushing title, despite Saquon having played 1 less game, by the way, because Philadelphia had its bye week in week 5. The King at 30. second in the league. And there is a comfortable margin between the first two on this list and the rest of the top five. A big gap between Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers is a top 5 wide receiver. So you're the second ranked rushing attack, and yet you've got a wide receiver that's in the top 5, receiving yards wise. You've got Rashad Bateman, who's off to a career year and projected to finish with over 800 receiving yards. By the way, happy birthday, Rashad. He's 25 today. Really happy for him in terms of what he's been able to do here in year 4. So when you have an offense that's so incredibly balanced, on top of what you've been able to do individually, if you're Lamar, nothing short of sensational. He is your MV3. There could be voter fatigue. I know that's hard to measure. I know that's hard to comprehend sometimes. That is a real thing. And when you've gone 2 MVPs in your first 6 seasons, one of which you weren't even a starter for 2018, he was a starter for the second half. 2019 was his first full season as a starter. This is year 7 for him. So when you've brought in 2 MVPs in 6 years essentially of starting, maybe voter fatigue comes into play. I don't know. Tonight's live stream is brought to you by my friends at Primary Residential Mortgage. And with the holiday season officially here, you may be looking for a way to access extra cash for gifts and celebrations. If that's the case, I got a solution for you. PRMI's Cash Out Refinance lets you tap into your home's equity to access the funds you need for your holiday shopping and festivities. And on top of that, Primary Residential Mortgage is willing to cover your closing costs up to $750 for applications that are submitted by February 9th of 2025. In order to take advantage of this special offer, you can apply through the link that I have included as a pinned comment in the live chat. That'll take you to the PRMI Mid-Atlantic website. Just mention my name as you go throughout the process so you can redeem this offer. Again, a limited time, February 9th of 2025. They are covering your closing costs up to $750. You can reach out to PRMI today and make this holiday season even brighter. If you're not interested and you just want to help out the channel, a way to do so is clicking on that link. Simply clicking on that link that's included in the show notes. It's also included as a pinned comment in the live chat, and that helps me out immensely. I appreciate your support as always, guys, and thank you to Primary Residential Mortgage for the continued support. Well, there's so many different storylines going into this Week 13 matchup. It's really a clash. It's a heavyweight clash between Philadelphia and Baltimore. Just a bus trip for the Eagles, 4:25 kickoff, and it's the A-team window for the CBS telecast. Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, and Tracy Wolfson. There are multiple MVP candidates. There are multiple Offensive Player of the Year candidates, and here are 2 of them. Saquon Barkley and Lamar Jackson. Saquon ranks first in rushing yards league-wide. He ranks tied for 4th in rushing touchdowns. Lamar, on top of all those other numbers that I mentioned earlier on in the live stream, ranks first in passing yards and tied for first in passing touchdowns. According to ESPN Bet, the MVP odds favor Lamar over Barkley, plus 260 to Saquon's plus 650. Look, I think Saquon could have run away with the Offensive Player of the Year. Traditionally, league MVPs traditionally go to quarterbacks, as many of you know. And this year, I don't see being an exception. Will there be an exception come Sunday remains to be seen. The exception to this fact, reality, Lamar is 23-1 against the NFC. His offenses score over 29 points per game. They put up 282 yards on average. He's thrown 49 touchdowns in those 24 games to just 9 picks. He's got an average passer rating of 103.1. And the only quarterback, the only team to have beaten him thus far from that conference is Daniel Jones, New York Giants. Daniel is now on the practice squad for the Minnesota Vikings, opted to go with Kevin O'Connell and company over the Baltimore Ravens. And given the fluidity at quarterback in Minnesota, I think that was probably the right move. He can say that he wants to learn and enjoy a postseason run all he wants. But to me, that's more about forecasting where you could potentially, where you'd be more likely to play sooner if something were to happen between now and the postseason, or really at any point along the way. And if you look at Baltimore and the stability at the position, sure, you would have been an immediate upgrade to Josh Johnson. But if I'm looking at Sam Darnold, who's had a resurgent year, who's to say that can't change on a dime? I think he made the right decision. Lamar's made all the right decisions against the NFC. But this is certainly this isn't your, average, middle of the road kind of NFC team. This is a team that's competed for the Super Bowl in recent years. This is a team that comes in having ripped off 7 straight wins. At the same time, this is a team that's coordinated defensively by somebody the Ravens and Lamar Jackson has had a boatload of success against. And that is the former Denver Broncos head coach Vic Fangio, the former Miami defensive coordinator, of course, now in year 1 with the Eagles as their defensive coordinator. Look at what Lamar has done to Fangio defenses. Sure, it's just a 2-game sample size, but he has utterly dominated them. He's 2-0. His offenses, they're putting up almost 40 points per game. He's got a completion percentage of 69. He puts up over 300 yards, 350 to be exact through 2 games. He's clean football, no picks, no turnovers, 6 touchdowns, and an average passer rating of 139.8. He has owned Vic Fangio. At the same time, this Fangio defense, a little bit different, a little bit more stout than the ones the Ravens have seen in the past. I don't think there's any question about that. Through week 12, this is the top-ranked defense across the league. Philadelphia 1, Tennessee 2, Denver, Kansas City, and Houston round out the top 5. They've got dogs in all 3 levels, particularly when it comes to up front. They've got young talent on the outside at corner. And in all 3 phases, this is a group that will challenge you. But the Ravens have seen top defenses before. And they're going to see another one again. And I don't see why there's no there is no reason why the Ravens can't put up points against this Philadelphia defense. Now, the rankings are impressive. This is the top overall group, like I mentioned, league-wide. They're the 7th against the run, 3rd against the pass, 6th in terms of scoring, 3rd on 3rd down, and 5th inside the 20. Red zone defense. Yeah, this is a group that Vic Fangio has just masterfully coordinated. Remember, Philadelphia lost 6 of its last 7 last year. It was an epic collapse for the Eagles and one and done in the postseason, if memory serves. Vic has come in, he's brought stability, and he's utilized his talents with all the talent that's on this freaking roster. We're talking about guys up front like Jalen Carter, like Jordan Davis. These are run stopper specialists. You've got Quinyon Mitchell, a rookie corner. You've got 2 corners who are playing meaningful minutes for you, meaningful snaps, in Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. Darius Slay, the veteran in all of this, won't be available, as I mentioned earlier on. He's in concussion protocol. He's officially been ruled out. If I'm Lamar and company, I'm coming out and in scripted format on that opening drive, I'm setting the tone. They have started slow in recent weeks, which is very uncharacteristic for this Todd Monken offense. Starting fast is key. Controlling the time of possession battle, also key because of what this offense presents. Cleaning up the penalties, particularly along the offensive line, whether they be pre-snap penalties or alignment. How many illegal formations has this group had throughout this season? It feels as if that's a weekly occurrence. That's the kind of stuff you got to eliminate. They're the 32nd ranked penalty group. Committed. They've committed over 100, guys. That's taken away over 850 yards. 865 to be exact. That's the type of stuff that's got to be cleaned up. And when I take a look at a big key if you're the Ravens, it's stopping this dude right here. Because if this rushing defense in Baltimore cannot, I'm not expecting them to completely stop Saquon Barkley. He's going to get his. But if you can limit Saquon, and you can have gap integrity, and you could be stout and vicious at the point of attack and win in the trenches, then Philadelphia is going to have to beat you through the air. And if they're forced to do that, they're going to be looking to number 11. Jalen Hurts' top target is A.J. Brown. He is a beast. He leads the way for them this year with over 700 receiving yards and 39 footballs caught. We will see if Devontae Smith is able to go. Again, he is dealing with a hamstring and is listed as questionable. They do have other wide receivers, and they do have a good tight end in Dallas Goedert. But for my money, if this rushing defense continues to stand tall, then make no mistake about it, A.J. Brown will be a factor. And if the Ravens can keep him locked down, I like their chances of winning this football game. I got the Ravens 29-28 on Sunday, guys. The reasons that I've just ripped off here these last couple minutes, I think, are going to be pivotal. Starting fast, containing A.J. Brown, controlling the time of possession battle, cleaning up the penalties, most importantly along the offensive line, pre-snap and alignment-wise. And I'll even add in, how about some third down success? The efficiency on Monday night, 8 for 15 on top of 3 for 3 on fourth down. That efficiency is going to win you a whole lot of football games. I was super impressed with how they handled that. A.J. Brown ranks third in the NFL in receiving yards per game this season. He's going to face a Ravens defense that has struggled to contain opposing wide receivers. They rank 30th, according to PFF, in receiving yards allowed per game to that position. We know why. I'm not going to remind you. The only positive here, the Ravens are no longer the dead last in terms of ranking. Passing attack. Passing defense, I should say. They are the 31st ranked passing defense. Second to last. They're moving in the right direction. A part of that has everything to do with the alignment change that they made just a couple weeks ago, and that was officially making Kyle Hamilton and Ardarius Washington starting running mates on the back end, deep safeties. Marcus Williams has been benched for multiple weeks now. Eddie Jackson is no longer on the team. He was waived after not making the trip to Pittsburgh. This is a group that's going to be tested come Sunday. And as much as it kills me to not see Kyle Hamilton, as much as we're used to seeing up at the line of scrimmage where he is most impactful, that is not by any stretch of the imagination saying that Kyle isn't productive as all hell on the back end. He is maybe just as, dare I say, just as impactful as a traditional safety on the back end. He was wearing the green dot communication device when Roquan was down last week. And of course, Malik Harrison stepped in admirably for Agent Zero in the middle part of that defense. You exclude the opening drive, it was an impressive performance from Malik, and I think his play should be commended. Over 400 of you joining me on this Black Friday evening. It is 5:08. I'm glad you're here. Like the channel. I should say like the video if you haven't done already. Subscribe to the channel. Coming up on 24,000 subscriptions. And hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I'm dropping my daily live content. Moneybag says, put Marlon Humphrey on A.J. Brown, and he's average Joe. I could definitely see that matchup. Koku Tenko, hopefully I'm not botching that, says Hurts is not a scary passer like that, so it's going to be about containing Saquon and covering those moon balls. Well, those moon balls I'm old enough to remember in recent weeks, the moon balls have been killers for the Ravens passing attack defense. Taurus just stays dragging Roquan. He says, LOL, Ro got nervous seeing Malik ball out. Did anybody get nervous? It was great to see that, but he ain't taking anybody's starting spot in Baltimore, Taurus. Please. Mike says my score prediction is too close for his liking. I have a hard time. I know. Look, this is the type of game. We've seen it time and time again. They could very well blow them out of the water at home. They could get up early, get up often, and take Philadelphia out of this game early. It's going to be a rocking crowd. Thanksgiving weekend in Baltimore. Sure. Ravens are pretty much fully healthy. But I just have a hard time predicting blowouts. It's really hard for me to do that. I'm going 29-28. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat. I'd love to see your predictions. Throw some of them up. Tilo reminds us all this is a battle of the birds. James Parker said, Bobby, Ryan is simply saying that Josh has no awards and the media would love to see him get an award. When Ryan says win one, he is talking about awards overall. Okay. Maybe there was some context to that clip in the prior segment. Appreciate the heads up there. I didn't interpret it that way. Matter of fact, here's that one more.
So the big thing for me is this. This is the Lamar Jackson MVP game. This narrative is being built to put Josh Allen at the top of the MVP race because he's the one great quarterback that we talk about amongst that trio of quarterbacks in the AFC that hasn't won one. But make no mistake about it, Lamar.
Well, Joe Burrow hasn't won an MVP. Is he putting Josh, Lamar, and Patrick in the same category? Is that what's going on? Because the way that I've always viewed it is Mahomes is up top, and you've got Lamar, Josh, and Joe all vying for, that second overall spot, which I think is owned and been claimed by Lamar. But I see what you're talking about. He is clearly talking about MVPs, so I didn't properly interpret that. What still stands is the quote where he's saying that Lamar has something to prove, essentially. Right, this is the Lamar MVP game. Go out and prove you're the best player in the league. I don't think he has anything left to prove aside from the month of February and consistently in the month of January as well. So I hear you, though. Thanks for pointing that out, Ryan. Appreciate that. Oh, excuse me, James Parker. This is lockstep. Absolutely. Appreciate that. Malcolm is going 35-21 Ravens. Jonathan says Eagles. Oh, okay. You had Eagles first, so I thought you were picking them. But no, you still got the Ravens 31-22. Chris says 42-21. Some of you joined me for today's lunch hour live stream as well. I'm getting your prediction for the same time. I'm checking that. I'm checking you to make sure you're staying consistent and not switching around your scores for those of you who joined me earlier. Abdi says, Philly fans don't come to Baltimore. You see what happened last time, the Commander game, and you see what happened. What happened? What happened? What happened? Did I miss something? What happened? Philly fans don't come to Baltimore. You see what happened last time? The Commanders came and you see what happened? Meaning the Ravens won? What happened? Am I missing something? Black's 114 says 28-24 flock. Tila says, I'm just going to say Ravens by +10. Tila, that's unfair. If I have to give you a specific score because Sarah makes me predict these games every single week, that means you have to as well. Come on, Tila. Give us an official score. Chef is going after Sirianni. The factor going in the Ravens' favor is that Sirianni makes some boneheaded head coaching decisions. Oh, wait. We do that too. Never mind. He's going after both coaches, not just Sirianni. Okay, Tila's score has officially been hit. Thank you for submitting your score, 34-24, Tila. Torres is just sticking his neck out there. He's going 42-17. He's saying, fuck it. I already got my third or fourth leftover plate in me. Maybe a cocktail off to the side. I got an espresso martini, by the way, being made by the youngest Trosset upstairs right now, which I'm rather excited about. You already know I'm going into this reunion tonight. Not liquored up, but a little buzzed up. You never know who's going to be there. Mike is 33-23. Abdi is 35-27. Planet 3 is 38-21. Abdi is clarifying. Philippines fans don't come to Baltimore acting fool because they get knocked out. Aha. Yeah, you don't come to the bank talking smoke or looking for smoke. You're in trouble if that's the case. Koku Tenko says 45-10 Ravens. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Jack Callis is what you guys are referring to. Yes. Sorry. In Fed Hill. I thought you meant at the stadium. Yes. Duh. Jack Callis assaulted those Commander fans outside in Fed Hill, outside the Cross Street Market. Yes. Sorry. Yes. It's late in the week. I feel like it's not even a Friday. It's such a bizarre week when Thanksgiving falls on Thursday, which means everything is just in flux this week. So, yes. I got you. No gummies for me. I did bring some gummies to my 30th. Abdi, I did bring some gummies. And apparently I've created a habit, not for myself, but for my middle brother, who showed up with the same exact brand of gummies that I was working with. It's called Via. Via did like a trial run with me. And I brought them to my 30th in Ocean City. And little did I know I'd be sparking a vice within my brother. My mom is not going to be pleased with me on that. Yeah, Teal, I do have a lot on my mind, including the espresso that's being made upstairs right now. Johnny says 31-23. Teal, you know what's also going to be funny too? Is if I show up tonight. Well, actually, no, it's the high school. So it's a high school reunion. I was going to say if there's just like some girl who shows up that I don't remember looking like that 11 years ago, but she's just dropped dead now and just like poof, drops out of thin air, knocks me off my feet. I mean, what a story that would be. Chris says she's bringing moonshine to Baltimore. God bless everybody that comes within your path on Sunday, Chris. Don't be coming up to my pregame show. I already can't talk as it is in recent days. Moonshine's going to put me off my ass. Listen, the problem is Philly and Baltimore fans, I feel like they can spar with one another no problem at all. That'd be a hell of a freaking matchup. VC Ride Z says 17-10 Ravens. Wow, low scoring. Dave says 34-24. Seems good. Moneybag says, Bobby, I got Tucker game-winning field goal. Okay. John wants to know how's Madison. Madison's good. She's down in Kentucky with her family for Thanksgiving. We're still chatting it up a little bit, but I'm about to go to Sweden for 7 days on Monday. Like, we met right before the holiday season. Not exactly ideal timing. Chef Trez says 34-22 Ravens as Tori Trosset makes her way down the steps into the laundry room. You want to come say hi? Come on, they want to say hi to you. Okay. Tori says no, she's not coming over. What other predictions are out there? Any score predictions? Chris says she's bringing me a special jar. Nobody's safe. Absolutely nobody's safe. All right, guys. We are officially in happy hour upstairs, I believe, and I have to get to a 11-year reunion, as I've mentioned. The youngest Trosset is working the door at this reunion, which should be hysterical. He's getting paid $150. How about this for a post-Thanksgiving gig? So my buddy who's hosting this event owns a restaurant right around the corner. He's paying my brother John $150 for less than 2 hours to sit at the front door, check people in, take their payments, write their stuff down, and he can have a drink in his hand while doing so. Is that not a sweet frickin' gig? Greg from Long Beach. Greg, good to see you. Hope everything's going well out on the West Coast. 38-21. Moneybag has 29-21 Ravens. Tila says, I bet Julian's sister would have come on. I bet she would have as well. I think she would have done a little bit more as well. Hey, Jewel, blink twice, buddy, if you're okay. Come on, come say hi real quick. Just the live chat. There's over 400 people that want to say hello to you. All right, making her debut here in the channel, Tori Trosset from Colorado. Not from Colorado. You're currently living in Denver. Yeah, they can hear you. You want to put on the headset? No. You're getting ready. She's getting ready for Friendsgiving. She made the 5K yesterday. Absolutely horrific. Sub 8-minute miles we ran, at least for the first two. And then I was shot. I was absolutely shocked. Go Flock. I was going to say, you continue to cultivate a Denver flock. And then she texts the group and sends audio messages like, hey, when you say likely, or what do you say again? When you say flowers, I say likely. Flowers, likely. Some bizarre ass. Tori's become a Ravens fan. She and I used to live in Fells together, which was a total show. But yeah, she's been in Denver for like a little over a year. And we're all here together under my mom's roof, which has been fun. Her boyfriend Francisco's here as well. I think they're tying the knot pretty soon. But yeah, she's become a big Ravens fan, which is fun. Thank you, Jamila. I think I'm pronouncing that right, Jamila. I had to convince her, though, a couple times to get on here. She's probably going to kill me when I go upstairs about that. Just Chuck says, good gig for Friday night, 27-24. Manny, a.k.a. the interim head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, one day. 28-26 Ravens. Yeah, Tila. Tori's probably the most attractive Trosset. She's in insane shape, just ridiculous shape. She's run like 4 or 5 marathons, most recently Chicago in the fall. And she set the pace. She set an absurd pace for our 5K yesterday to the point where I'm just like limping around. I'm like Travis Jonesing around my living room. I'm just limping. And it ain't even my ankle. It's just my body. Like, it's just, but it's fun. I never really thought we'd be turkey trot family, like all together. But it is fun. And it started snowing mid-turkey trot, which was kind of magical. And it's snowing outside right now too. So I do miss that. I love Maryland. I do. And I love Baltimore, but there's just something magical about an upstate New York winter. Except when it gets to March and it's still snowing, or April. Growing up, it used to snow in April all the time, and that's the worst feeling. Mike wants to know, do the Chiefs look really beatable? Yeah, of course. But that's what makes them so scary. The Chiefs appearing to be beatable is the scariest thing about them because they're waltzing through this season and they're 10-1. So everybody says that they're not anybody who says they're not dangerous, they're not scary. I can't get behind that. I just can't. It's about what they do a month and a half from now. And consistently for the last several years, they've been nothing short of unbeatable. That's right, Mike. They always turn it up in the playoffs, time and time again, without question. All right, now I really got to go. I appreciate you guys for being here. I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving weekends. The next time I will be live, unless something happens today, is Sunday for pregame coverage. It's a 4:25 kickoff. Somewhere in that 2 o'clock hour, I will begin, probably around 2:30 or so. Be More Around Town. You know where to get your tickets, bemorearoundtown.com. Excuse me. If you want to donate to the channel today, you can do so through Venmo or Cash App or the YouTube Super Chat feature. Like the video, please, on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I'm dropping my daily live content. Brock Bowers is a beast, by the way. He gave the Ravens fits. I'm just seeing some highlights over here. Thank you to Primary Residential Mortgage for sponsoring this episode. I got a lot of gratitude, a lot of sincere gratitude and thankfulness for all of you. And I look forward to getting back to it coming up Sunday. All right, I got an espresso martini waiting for me. I'm out. Yeah, Mike, I'm walking. I'm so close to this event that I'm walking to it. No driving. Greg from Long Beach, you're the man. Hopefully you and yours are having a great start to your long Thanksgiving weekend. And yeah, Taurus, I don't know who Beezy is, but his ass is about to get blocked on my channel. I'll tell you that. With that kind of comment. Or maybe he's joking. I don't know. Is that something between you guys, Taurus and Beezy? Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully that's some good old-fashioned back and forth there. I got thick skin, so I can see that. But I ain't getting in the middle of that if it is. I'll let you two hash that out. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. I'll catch up with you soon. Later.